Guys, this is my Pecha Kucha. There's many like it, but this one's mine. Pokemon, coined from the phrase Pocket Monsters, is a vast fictional world created in 1996 as video games for the original Game Boy by Nintendo. Since the release of the first game, I've completed Pokemon Ruby, Leaf Green, Platinum, Soul Silver, Sun, and I'm currently on my way to completing Ultra Moon. For me, these games are a great time killer when on vacation. Supreme Commander Forge Alliance is a real-time strategy game that takes place way in the future when humans are able to travel through the galaxy using quantum tunnel. Typical gameplay lasts from 40 minutes to even half of the day from just trying to outsmart your opponent using your army, economy, or the construction of powerful weapons known as game enders. This game is great because it requires more thought than just action. DICE released Battlefield 4 back in 2013. Battlefield 4 takes place in the present day where there is hostilities going on between the three major powers, the US, China, and Russia, who are ready for war. The game aims for realism by including current weapons, the time it takes for the bullet to travel, and gauging your target distance when shooting the enemy. League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena where 12 players split into two teams of 6 attempt to destroy each other's nexus. Players control characters known as champions that have a set of unique abilities. Throughout the game, players augment their champions' abilities to give them or their team an advantage against the opponent. Gameplay typically lasts 20 to 40 minutes, which is great if you want to play a quick game. Kingdom Hearts is a role-playing game where you play as the character Sora, who is trying to save Princess Kairi. The universe of Kingdom Hearts is a crossover of Disney franchises. Numerous Disney-themed worlds are being invaded by the Heartless, and it's up to you to seal the heart of each world using the Keyblade. The series is a great narrative as it is a puzzle-solving story where you rely on the tiny details to understand the bigger picture. Dragon Age Origins is a role-playing game developed by BioWare in 2009 that takes place in a medieval-like era. In Dragon Age Origins, you are a Grey Warden, an order that has long been forgotten since the last Blight. Unbeknownst to the world of Thetis, the fifth Blight is on the horizon, and you and the remains of the Grey Wardens must rally Ferelden to fight the Blight. Dragon Age 2, the sequel to Dragon Age Origins, puts you as the character Hawk, who, with his family, is escaping the Fifth Blight. You successfully flee to Kirkwall, a city at the edge of the Three Marches, but at the cost of losing your mother to the Darkspawn and your sister to the Circle of Magi for the growing fear of mages within Ferelden. You are the spark to the Mage Rebellion. Dragon Age 3 takes place soon after the events of Dragon Age 2. The Mages and Templars are at an all-out war, but there is a dark presence glooming over Ferelden. Corypheus, a Tevinter Magister who brought the Darkspawn into this world, has risen again to conquer Ferelden, but he mistakenly has given you, the Inquisitor, a mark which controls the Fade and can seal the breach within the sky. Total War Rome 2 is a turn-based / real-time strategy game taking place during the start of the Roman Empire. You have the ability to control other factions other than the Romans, such as the Spartans or the Carthaginians. Your end goal is to establish an empire that is as strong as the Roman Empire. Although such a task may take weeks to complete, it's great to play when you want time to pass by. Total War Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai is a turn-based / real-time strategy game that takes place during the fall of the Japanese shogunate. Again, you have the ability to control different warring factions on the island of Japan. Your end goal is to unite the Japanese under one flag, but technology is quickly changing. In a couple turns, you may be literally outgunned, which leads to the fall of your faction. Total War Warhammer is a turn-based, real-time strategy game that takes place in a fictional world of Warhammer 40k. Again, you have the ability to control the different races of Warhammer, such as elves and dwarves. Your end goal is to unite your race and create an empire, but the hordes of chaos are at your doorstep. You must muster your troops and rally your allies to face the threat before you're vanquished. Verdun is a squad-based realistic first-person shooter that takes place during World War I for the Battle of Verdun. Games consist of 64 players that last about 1 hour per match. Gun mechanics are realistic because you have to factor in the distance of your target, your bullet drop, and other factors that affect your accuracy when shooting. Although the round itself is long, it's still a great pickup game because you aren't penalized for leaving the match early. Men of War Assault Squad 2 is a real-time strategy game that puts you in the position of a commander during World War II. You and up to 16 players control armies from the main factions of World War II, where you must reach the objective goal before the enemy team. In order to do so, you must make a plan because one false move can break your front line and lead to utter defeat. Typical gameplay lasts 2 to 4 hours and requires a lot of thinking to win. Heroes in General is a first-person shooter that puts you as a foot soldier on the front lines of World War II. You are able to fight for America, Germany, and Russia, as all three factions fight each other for control of Europe. As you play more and more, you go through the ranks until you reach the rank of General. There you're now able to control the battlefield and order soldiers to attack or defend cities held by your faction. War Thunder is a first-person shooter that puts you as a pilot fighting in Europe and Asia. The planes span from World War I to the Vietnam War, but they also include experimental planes that were only in the design phase before the idea was scratched. The game is designed for realism. Bullet drop, amount of fuel, airspeed, the type of ammunition, and many other factors affect you in flight. Mount and Blade Napoleonic Wars is set during the Napoleonic era. The game features accurate weapons, environments, and uniforms during that era. Players are able to engage in combat with up to 200 players, which is a lot of fun if it's an event. Players are able to join regiments in order to join these events. Personally, I am part of the 14th Royal Grenadiers, and I am a second lieutenant. Star Wars The Old Republic is a role-playing game that takes place in the Star Wars universe. The time setting is 3600 BBY, a time when the Jedi Order has been exiled to their homeworld of Tython, and there is an ongoing Cold War between the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic. Players are able to choose from numerous species and career paths to take as the tension is about to break between the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire. Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005 is a first-person shooter based on the events that took place from Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, to Episode 4, A New Hope. The game plays every major battle during the movies, but through the perspective of a clone trooper. Narrations provide the player some insight on the mental strain the war has on its clones. Kerbal Space Program is a sandbox-based flight simulation game. Players are in charge of a space program run by Kerbals, a race of small green humanoids. Kerbals can build spaceships on their homeworld Kerbin to explore the Kerbal solar system. When building a ship, players have to factor thrust to weight ratio, fuel amount, vector nodes, etc. when building or flying a ship to get anywhere. Overwatch is a first-person shooter multiplayer online battle arena. Players control characters called heroes that have unique abilities. Gameplay involves 12 players split into 2 teams of 6, where players must work together to win the match. The main game modes are attack and defend or control point. As the game progresses, players are able to change their heroes to create a better team composition to counter the enemy.